Well, my mother and my sister, my mother Edie Sconiers and my sister Pat, they worked for Hugo King, and that was before Dad owned the business. Both of them worked for Hugo, and then Hugo King decided got to where he wanted to sell the business, and my dad bought the business, and him and my uncle Buck had partnered up. They had a partnership of some sort, But my dad run a Lance cookie route. But from what I understand, when Dad first bought the business, he leased it for 5 years, and then at the end of 5 years, with the option of buying it, and that's how he come about acquiring the Tasty Freeze. And but my dad was on the Lance cookie route, and my uncle Buck and my mother-in-law and them run the business basically back then, and Buck's wife Dinky worked here, she was here, and then eventually Daddy come off the Lance cookie route and come back out here, and I forget just when my Uncle Buck left, but he took some other business ventures, and all, and he got out of the restaurant. Daddy kept the restaurant from then on, and so it's stayed in our family, ever since.
Well, we used to be at a Tasty Freeze, and we was on a franchise with them. And the only thing we was required under the Tasty Freeze at that time was to use their ice cream, which was the best ice cream on the market at the time. And we had an ice cream machine that had a pump on it, and that's the only part they would not sell us. That because you could not operate an ice cream machine without a pump. And but that was a big deal. But yeah, then we were going fine with the Tasty Freeze, but then
they started selling hamburger meat and all, and they tried to force my dad under his contract with the Taste Freeze. All he had that ice cream mix he's talking about. It had to be a certain percentage of milk content in it. Butterfat in it. I think it's 5% or something. And we bought it through Board and Dairy, But when Daddy, they started selling the hamburger meat and all patties, and back then some of them had them soy patties out, and we never used nothing like that. It's all beef, But they tried to force my dad to buy hamburger patties, which they were higher through them, and they wanted them to quit getting them from our suppliers, and he wouldn't do it. And that pump he's talking about tore up, and he needed a part for it. And we running around here for about a month with no ice cream because they was delaying getting them parts in here, and they was trying to force our hand on going with them with the meat and all. And that's when he went out from under the Tasty Freeze name and started out as Ed's Restaurant.
We had a big sign that went the whole distance of the building, Tasty Freeze written on it, and he told Glenn to go up there and my oldest brother to go up there and cut that sign down. And we did. We slid it off the building and put it in the garbage, and that was the end of the Tasty Freeze.
The end of the Tasty Freeze.
And we probably still would be the Tasty Freeze if they hadn't done him that way, because he was. We always been about quality food out here, and there's good meats and stuff like that. And me and Tim's carried that on. And during COVID, we had a tough time getting. We used a certain kind of Angus beef, and it's high, and we still use it. And during COVID, it went sky high on us, and we continue using it. And we didn't go up on our prices one bit because we're here to serve the people. They serve us about coming out and supporting us. And there's been times when tomatoes and all got so high and stuff like that other places quit using them, but we never did. Daddy told us, he said, burgers taste this way for a reason, and we keep it that way, no matter what the cost is. That's what we tried to do. Me and Tim tried to carry that on.
Well, my dad passed away in '93, and I worked out here. I left there was a lot of family out here at one time. I left here in '78. I worked out here, started out on a milk crate back there over the sink like the rest of us, But But I left for 10 years. I drove a milk truck, and bread truck, and my dad kept wanting me to come back, you know. Finally, I decided to come back, and that was in '88. I come back in '88, and and my dad passed away in '93, and me and Tommy took the business over then. That's when this used to be, this wall here was a solid wall across there, had 3 windows in it, and we knocked out the 2 end windows there and put the doorway in, and we added on that other addition. Dad never wanted to do that. He always said, "Son, if it ain't broke, don't fix it." You know, that's pretty well his mentality. You know, he told me he knowed about a business down there in Knoxville, down there somewhere where that happened, and They added on, and they wound up closing off the new edition and putting it back the way it was. So I don't know much about it, but he said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, so
his mentality of managing a business was not hiring somebody to do it. It was you do the work yourself, and that's what me and Tim done. He said, "You boys, y'all can stand behind that grill there and watch everything in this building.
Mm-hmm.
If you put that addition over there, you ain't gonna be able to see those people over there and be able to make sure they're attended to." So that was his mentality. But we done it, and we didn't get it finished before he died. He died before we
No, he was, it's after he died when we done it.
Okay. Yeah. But I think he'd be pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah.
It's always been known to have teenagers working here, and we use a lot of we use a lot of high school kids. Always have, and that's and I guess that's because we worked here as kids, and then some of our friends would come out and ask for jobs, and it just continued on, and we sometimes we take a beating by hiring young kids like this, but in the long run, they learn, and they go on to be successful in other things. And a kid, Shane Abbott, across the street all the time. I said, you let me and Tim train these kids, get them up to about 17 years old, 18 years old, then you take them from us.
Yeah, they just passing through though. You know, we've had a lot of good. Got a lot of good luck with young people. You know, there's a few, you know, that has to be called out. You know, but for the most part, we've been able to hire a lot of good teenagers.
He was a good dad. He was rough. I mean, he's tough, and but he had to be, because we had 3 of us boys and 1 girl, and trust me, we tested her big time. But we all 3 fight you over it, right? Yeah. But anyway, see, Dad, he always loved cowboys, and you can tell we keep some of the stuff up. But we went to Arizona. We used to go on vacations all the time out in Texas, and we hated Texas because it was. If you go into Texas, there's a sign there that says El Paso 900 and something miles. It just tell you something about how long you're gonna be in that car. And so, but anyway, he loved going out there to Texas, but one story I won't ever forget was coming home. It was on the west side of San Antonio, and there's a lot of mountains there. It looks like somebody just took a knife and cut the top of the mountains off. And he loved that. And he told Mama, he said, when I die now, I want you to bury me out there, just up underneath one of them mountains, by one of them mountains out there, to come out and bury me out here. That's his love of the cowboys and all that. But we was going on vacation. We went through Arizona, and those guns he's talking about. He went to the Colt factory, and they would have one in Arizona somewhere. We went by there, and he told them what he wanted, and they made them for me. We went on and done whatever we done, come back by and picked them up. And that was the story of the guns. He had those made for him at that Colt factory out there. And so, but yeah, he loved them guns, and they were Pearl handles. They were. So, and I have one of them. One of them got stolen, and you kept them on the headrest of his car. And we went to Fitzcola one day, and I was driving, and we got out to go get something to eat, and he normally ought to take some things and put them in his trunk. Well, because I was driving, he was in the back seat. He forgot about it. We come back, somebody had broken in his car and stole that gun. He was upset about that, but yeah, he loved his guns.
A lot of my fond memories that where my dad run that cookie truck. Every summer I'd ride with him on that cookie truck from school. That's where I spent my summers with him. But me and Dad was close, and I remember going to these old country stores like up there above. He worked Sampson, Geneva, Florella, Bonifay, and all. I remember up there above Gaskin. Up there was a store right before P River there. He said, "Now we're gonna eat dinner up here." Now we worked that store with cookies, and then he'd go over and get some Vienna sausage and a loaf of bread. And I said, "Where are we gonna eat lunch up here?" And we drove down to the bottom of that bridge, and we sat there by that P River. That's what we done every Tuesday. Just things like that. And then when another story goes back to the restaurant, when he took over the restaurant out there, he told a story he told my mother. He said, "Now there's one thing I want, if you ever see anybody hungry and needing something, y'all feed them." He says, "I don't care whether they got money or not, you take." That's the kind of feller he was. He believed in taking care of I guess you could call it homeless or whatever, the needy and all. And just things like that. He was a good man. That's the kind of man he really was.
Yeah.
Now, there's one or two stories out there where he kind of got himself in trouble, and some people took my daddy wrong. I said that.
But he was always
That wasn't the whole story,
Yeah.
He'd
keep his shirt off his back.
He would.
And we used to be closed on Wednesdays here, and not every Wednesday, but a lot of Wednesdays we'd go to Pensacola. He'd invite everybody that worked out here, want to go with him to go. And so as we was getting off the interstate there in Pensacola, there was a man sitting on the side of the road there, and I don't know if he rolled down the window and asked the guy if he was hungry or what, but I think he did. But anyway, so we went on to Marston's cafeteria, and Daddy always eats slow, but this day he was just eating faster than normal. And he got up, got back in line, and he got him a plate, and come over and told Mama, he said, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go take that man down by the interstate." And she said, "But you got two plates." And he said, "Well, he's got a dog. That dog's got to eat too." But that's just the way he was. And he taught us so much.